Hello again, welcome to the AM News. Now, President Akufo-Addo says government is committed to achieving herd immunity to protect citizens from the coronavirus disease. His 26th address came at a time when the country is recording high numbers of the coronavirus disease and heading for a third wave. Ghana's case count now stands at 4,521 with 823 deaths. While reminding Ghanaians to strictly adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols, the president also updated the directives surrounding weddings and funerals in the country.
The COVID-19 task force, which I chair, has recommended that a second look be taken at the protocols that have been put in place for social and public gatherings, in particular weddings and funerals across the country. I have in previous updates emphasized the need for the strict observance of safety protocols at all such gatherings. To ensure that such gatherings do not become the sources of infections, the following must be adhered to by all at these gatherings. Firstly, the wearing of masks continues to be mandatory, and persons must respect the enhanced hygiene protocols. Secondly, all such events must be held in open-air spaces. Thirdly, the duration of such events is limited to 2 hours. Fourthly, there must be observance of the 1 meter social distancing rule. And fifthly, handshakes must be avoided. Furthermore, given that people sitting together to eat, drink, laugh, dance, and talk in large gatherings without masks are the riskiest activities for spreading the virus, all post-event receptions, particularly related to weddings and funerals, are banned. I want to reiterate the protocols surrounding activities in churches and mosques remain the same as our protocols in schools. With workplaces currently witnessing a resurgence in COVID-19 infections, it is important that owners and management of businesses and workplaces implement strictly the guidelines on staff management and workplace protocols, such as the use of a shift system and technology, mask wearing, social distancing and hygiene protocols, as was required in the earlier days of the pandemic.
Now, landlords and residents of Otojo, a suburb of Dansoman, are asking government to assist in the construction of deplorable roads in the area. According to them, the roads become muddy and on more trouble in the rainy season. They have therefore raised funds to commence graveling of the 4.5-kilometer road and are asking government to help tie it. Here's Kwesi Parker-Wilson's report.
The residents of Otojo say the road has been a major challenge for years, but nothing has been done about it by successive governments. According to them, several appeals have yielded no results, and the road is worsening. They have therefore embarked on a community self-help project to fix the road. Some of the landlords have been speaking to JoyNews.
Even Omuna basa na omu kotogo temnya de nti adwe hu na ya tro letter come assembly say omuni fan sesia nti ya landlords no ya adigi sky ya over 30,000 ni ato anhia ni ayi ya di ya kwa no ko du ba bi ti say aba no hu se ya na say amayamwa.
Our roads are very bad and it's affecting us. We contributed over 30,000 to put gravels on the road. It's our hope government through the MP and the Municipal Assembly will come to our aid and tar the road for us because we don't have the funds for the tarring of the road. Our efforts will amount to nothing if government fails to come to our aid.
That you worry about the Faisal, I said, I compared to say, any more of the quota, but here to your quota, says, yeah, as and see, I understand about ya, cast and bet me a Faisal, never bet me a Faisal. Yes, sir, Mumba Boy, I said, or what the quota, the baby goose on my end.
That young say, you're crying here. They decided to pay for any more boy. The yeah, way remuan. Gabomo de answered in a shot, CIA. Maybe I need a shot, yeah. And penny for who say I started a baby. They told me about my yamai. Was your plan and yet any nigga.
We've been pleading with government to come and fix our roads, but nothing has been done about it. Because of this, we decided to come together and raise some funds to begin the construction while we look up to government to complete it. At least, this will let officials know that we are serious about fixing our roads. The potholes are affecting our activities. Government, please come and help us.
Portos no man to do our Nika no Nantiano man. We are baby of a funny no man, it is step a hard. But for now, you're starting a year. I'm saying, Momutia, so we said, you're starting BB Post.
The 4.5-kilometer road is currently being worked on, but until the government comes in to complete the work, the hope of having a good road will continue to remain a dream. For JoyNews, I am Chrissy Parker-Wilson.
The WA Director of Health is worried about an increase in anemia cases among pregnant women in his area. 33% of pregnant women in the municipality over the last 6 months have reported with anemic conditions, with some 41% experiencing the condition after only 36 weeks. The municipality has also recorded 7 maternal deaths and 134 prenatal deaths. Here's correspondent Rafiq Salam's report.
Performance reviews by the various health directorates in the country is for them to do a thorough reflection and retrospection about the successes made as well as the challenges encountered during the period under review. The WA Municipal Health Directorate is therefore not an exception, as it gives many stakeholders in the health sector the opportunity to strategize and find new ways of handling the challenges encountered with a view to providing quality health care to the people. WA Municipal Director of Health Services, Dr. Nguyen Pascal Kinsley, in his speech, enumerated the several successes chalked under the half-year period.
In the area of universal health coverage, we have been able to make functional 11 additional CHIP zones, raising the figure from 28 last year to 39 this year. We have scaled up life course approach, which was originally operationalized in just 1 CHIP zone, serving as a model CHIP zone for the municipality, to 30 functional CHIP zones this year.
Following closely with the successes were dim figures of maternal and neonatal deaths and adolescent pregnancies, which nearly enveloped the successes achieved.
We have unfortunately recorded 7 maternal deaths, 134 perinatal deaths, as against 113 last year, and then a 33% anemia in pregnancy at registration. What is even more glaring is that we have recorded 41% anemia among pregnant women at 36 weeks. Adolescent pregnancy, one of the major concerns in the municipality, has seen a 9% increase in this year under review, compared with the same period last year. In absolute figures, we have recorded 334 adolescent pregnancies in 2021, as against 306 in 2020.
For the umpteenth time, the need to construct a befitting health services directorate was also among the challenges that was laid bare.
Our office block, which I keep on mentioning during every review meeting, was started some 21 years ago and has still not made any progress beyond the foundation level. We wish to remind and appeal the Municipal Assembly and other stakeholders to list it in their priority area for consideration.
Dr. Nguyen Pascal Kinsley then rolled out the plan for the second half of the year.
We will intensify community education and dialogue on COVID-19, reproductive health services, and adolescent health clubs on teenage pregnancy.
And from Wa, we head to the Western region, where the chairman of the Council of State, Nana Otuo-Srebo II, says government needs a multiple stakeholders approach to curb illegal mining. He believes that the licensing regime must be re-examined to ensure sanity and the sustainability of the mining sector. Here's Natalia Kwanzaa's report.
We have not been very happy ourselves with the licensing regime, and we have engaged the Minister for Lands. When the Minister was with us the first time, before they started the operation, we took issue on a few of them. For example, why should somebody get a mineral license before he gets an EPA license? You know, we are putting the cart before the horse. If he elects not to go to EPA, he would go ahead to destroy the environment. You know, so we have to look at the whole gamut of the legislative regime and the milieu. Lives have been involved. People have, been making livings out of Galamsey, and when you remove them from here without any immediate means of livelihood, you are creating social problems. This area, for example, if the area is reclaimed, it can be used for planting, vegetables for sale. There are hotels around Takoradi, Atuabo, and all the places. If you do lettuce here, you are good to go.
Nana Otuo-Srebo made this observation when he led the council members on fact-finding mission on Saturday to Galamsey site at Teleko Bokaso in the Elembele district of the Western region, where a vast land and river Broom had been devastated. The visits revealed huge piles of sand scattered in the area, and there were visible signs that the river Broom had been diverted to pave way for illegal mining operations.
Of course, the gold resource, which has its positive advantages, but of late has all the negative connotations. And the negative connotation has been the fact that there is a lot of illegal mining going on. And these are not regulated, they are not monitored, and they have a deleterious effect on the environment. And we have just seen behind us the extent of the wastage and devastation that has occurred, to the extent that the whole river was muddy. And what we have learned on the site, if the locals are involved in the whole process of granting, monitoring, and subsequent assessment, maybe we can get far.
During the visit to the various sites, Western Regional Minister Kobna Otreda Kumensa reported that some machinery had been seized while some arrests had been made, assuring that sanity was in the area.
We thank the President for bringing a lot of developmental projects into the region. And where we have gaps, we've asked them to help us fill in the gaps. And one of them has to do with our one district one fund and the way Exim Bank actually shares the money. We believe that it should be allocation. Every region should have an allocation, a minimum allocation for investment into one district, one factory, so that we can have a minimum need being satisfied. Then we can go to the extras. I mean, if Accra has more industries applying, then maybe the extra 50% is then giving more attention to Accra, Kumasi, Eastern or something. But there should be a base.
They also discussed the legal regime, including prosecution, matters related to illegal mining sites, and the role of the judiciary. For JoyNews, Natalia Kwanzaa, Western Region.
In our last story, the paramount chief of the Kusalgo traditional area is warning his subjects not to attack or lynch anyone on suspicion of being a witch. He says such matters should be reported to the palace to stop people from taking the law into their hands. Martina Bugri has more.
The Kusagura said this when the reintegration committee of alleged witches paid a courtesy call on him at his palace to congratulate him for his elevation onto the scene and to solicit his support in the fight on violence against women accused of witchcraft. The secretary of the traditional area, Kelibura Amidu, who spoke on behalf of the chief, said elders and sub-chiefs within the area have begun sensitization in their various communities.
He's trying with his elders and other sub-chiefs speak to members of the various communities. Should they get any witch The first point of call is to get to the community head or the community chief, and then they will bring that fellow to the chief palace. Instead of raising their hands and weapons to beat and harm such a fellow. It has been a very nice education. Now if you have come to add your voices to what is already existing over here, I believe the chief and the sellers and other sub-chiefs would, as much as possible, try to enforce such laws so that witches and wizards will not be given instant punishment.
Program Officer of Action Aid Ghana, Ms. Alia Mumuni, said the reintegration committee has successfully closed down 2 witches' camps out of the 6 in the northern Savannah and Northeast regions. She said the committee has also reintegrated and reunited some of the inmates of these camps with their families.
We are worried as an organization from where we stand. Violence against women is an issue that every well-meaning Ghanaian should be worried about. And as Action Aid, an organization that works to promote gender equality, social justice, and to eradicate poverty, we must be worried from where we come from. Violence in its form or in any form against any person is a crime, according to even our laws of Ghana. When we started, we had 6 camps, all located in the northern region. Now, because of the demarcation of the additional regions, we have one in Northeast. All used to be in northern region. Through our work, with the support of our partners, collaborators, the reintegration committee members, we successfully closed 2 camps. One in 2014, that was the first camp, supported strongly by the late Kusobura, which was the Bonyashe camp. And secondly, last year, we successfully closed down the Nabuli camp, which is also located in Bushegu. So currently we have 4 camps that are still existing. The Gambaka camp located in Northeast, and we have the Ngani, Kuko, and Patenga camp all in northern region.
Well, that's it for the news. We've got plenty of news coming up shortly when we review the newspapers and also touch base with our news portal, myjoyonline.com. My colleague Joseph Akable will be joining me for that. Stay with us. Oh, hello there. Good morning if you're just joining us. This is the AM show. You missed the news, but we're about to give you more headlines, so you made it in good time. Joseph Akable is joining me. We'll do the review together. Joseph, if you can hear me, good morning.
Good morning, Mavi.
You're good.
Fantastic. How's the internet connection this morning?
It looks perfect, but don't talk about it yet. You never know.
A system was installed over the weekend, so I've been assured that it will be fantastic today.
Yay. Okay, nice. But yesterday I was watching the law, the issue on the LGBTQI. I mean, even this one, lawyers always disagree. We know that they take different angles. But this issue, I don't know. Once you couldn't settle the score on the law, I don't know where else we could settle it.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it was settled. If just that no one wanted to agree to what the settlement was, but I think some admissions were made even by the lawyer who was in support of the bill, to the effect that he thinks there's some fine-tuning that ought to be done. I thought that was a bit of a compromise for both sides, because the scholar, the law researcher, took the view that it was a law that was terrible, while the other gentleman took the view that it was actually a beautiful piece of legislation. Yet, in the end, eventually admitted, even though it's just one sentence, that it's something that needs to be worked on a bit. But it was very heated discussion, and I was just laughing at various points of it. It wasn't easy at all.
Absolutely. I think you did a good job trying to get the two gentlemen to still make their point and to have the freedom in doing so. But listen, we've sent many laws in the initial form of a bill, terrible, a lot of MPs will tell you, but they've come out fantastic. So this won't be an exception, really.
Except that with this particular bill, so I went through the bill as well. A lot of the clauses seeks to do the very same thing. So it lays a foundation about what constitutes proper human sexual behavior. Then it begins to say that, I mean, if you make any comments against it, if you push or publish anything in that regard. And so it's a very strict foundation that it lays that it's very difficult to see how those aspects will be taken out, except they are just struck out completely. So like the advocacy and all those things. But that is what the bill, the promoters are actually coming against. They are against people who want to advocate for such rights. And so how do you restrict such expressions without stifling free speech? And that is the difficulty that the drafters and those who will be making changes will really struggle to find a fine line in between. But it remains to be seen. I was also having a conversation with someone yesterday about what happens should Parliament pass it and the President decide not to sign it into law. I'm told that under the Constitution, the process is that if the President decides not to sign it, he would have to refer it to the Council of State, or he will write back to Parliament specifying reasons why he cannot sign it and also making recommendations about the bill. Then when Parliament reconsiders it and decides to pass it in any form with the various two-thirds majority approving it, the President will now be bound to pass it within 90 days, sign it. He has no option after that.
Yeah. You know what? We've already said it and discussed many times how what we have, the law that we have, is not clear enough. So if we're trying to get clarity to this, it shouldn't be as though we haven't had the conversation on clarity. You know, there's Absolutely. A gap. We all agree that the law as we have it, it needs to be adjusted. And so this is a proposal, isn't it? If you think you have a different, if you have an option or a way that you think it should be done, when it gets to Parliament, you can make your position known.
Yeah. And I mean, when we get the opportunity to engage the promoters too, I mean, I would love to ask a question. You know, other bills, before they are even sent to Parliament, there is some discussions that go on. I mean, in fact, the bill makes reference that they had engaged various groupings, but all the groupings that were made reference to, they seem to be groups that are actually all for the bill. I was wondering whether they had engaged people on the other side just to tweak it a bit, because a portion of the bill is actually criminalizes abusing people who are perceived or holding themselves out as gays or lesbians. It's also an offense. You commit a misdemeanor. So it's not just a bill that seeks to criminalize those things that we are speaking about, just others who stigmatize against them as well.
Yeah. We'll be carrying this conversation forward, Joseph, after you settle the score with the legal brains. We'll do the other stakeholders as well on the AM show. So let's concentrate on the newspapers now. You're doing the Daily Guide, the Ghanaian Times, Finder, and the Business and Financial Times. I will stick to Republic Press, the Daily Graphic newspaper, the Daily Dispatch, and Economy Times. So why don't you go first, Joe?
Yes, I'll start from the front page of the Finder newspaper this morning. The Finder reports post-event receptions banned and all events to be held in open for 2 hours. A $25 million seed fund for National Vaccine Institute is also another announcement that is coming in. Guel wins Best Corporate Governance category at Millennium Excellence Awards. And Ofuasia Yerebi MP provides first medical theatre to support first doctor. And Court of Appeal dismisses ENI's stay of execution application. Also another story on the front page of the Finder. The Daily Guide reports this morning that we are fighting demons, principalities, says Baumia. UPSC Ernest Napo, another story on the front page. And I'm coming back is from John Dramani Mahama, according to the Daily Guide. And on the story about the UPSA on Napo, we have been told that 1,842 degree holding police officers promoted. There's also another educational story on the front page of the guide. And slain cop in bullion van robbery buried. A very sad story over the weekend there. We can do the front page of the Business and Financial Times now. Mid-year budget reinstates 17.5% get fund / NHIL to former status, coming from a tax analyst. and scrap PFJ fertilizer subsidies. Peasant farmers and dealers not interested in scheme. Subsidies already declined to 38% in 2021 from 50% in 5 years. And Gore wins Corporate Governance Award is also here. Bonds market to see new indices by end of year is also on the front page of the BNFT. We can do the Ghanaian Times now. The front page of the Ghanaian Times. Some stories here. Delta variant lethal spreads faster. Noguchi warns, and spike hits 423 cases. I actually saw the release from Noguchi where the point is being made that in terms of cough and sneezing, the droplets stay in the atmosphere for quite a while, and it's very, very dangerous, as we've been told. A new anti-LGBT proposes 10-year jail term for offenders. Ofonsia Yobi MP provides first medical theater to support first doctor, also on the front page. And Cosmos Energy supports Ghana Health Service with $50,000 code van for transportation of vaccines. It's another story here. The back page of the Ghanaian Times, some sad news there. Chelsea dump out Kotoko Mediama script through. It's also on the back page. And RTU returned.
I'm not sure I heard you. Did I?
What didn't you hear?
The sports headlines, the Chelsea bits,
Okay. So when you grab a copy of
because I think you said sad news. Did you say sad news?
I did say that.
It's been coming, or you didn't see?
Charlie, you see, say I guess on Kotokoti be the hang for the kind side. Charlie, the year to actually cry.
Oh my God! Okay, you guys are now coming to the. I thought you said you had a lot of money, or the money isn't helping. How about your international manager and the players?
I'm off football. I'm on a football break now. If you tell Nana I don't support Kotoko anymore.
Your downfall is my joy. I don't feel sorry.
But the back page has this story about Accra Hasselhoff, the glorious Accra Hasselhoff.
Thank you.
Amankwa quickly sees hearts through to semis. So that is some good news there. Phobia. They are on the verge of a double, and so
please, we don't need you to say anything. No pressure on our guys. Stay with yours.
Okay. They are not on the verge of a double, even though they are through to the semi-final. So those are the front pages for me.
All right. I'll start with the Republic Press newspaper. On the front page of Republic Press, it says, trouble looms as Noguchi warns of serious COVID-19 outbreak. Slain cop laid to rest. That's the 26-year-old. Joseph touched on it. It's in all the newspapers today. He was simply guarding a supposed bullion van. Now we know it wasn't a bullion van, as it was just a vehicle that looks like a bullion van, totally unprotected. He died with one other person. He was laid to rest over the weekend. Pastor and wife killed. Another bizarre story. So this pastor and his wife, residents of Ayiti Copper in the Akachi South municipality of the Volta region, they were just found dead in their house with the main gates locked. Padlock, according to the story, was locked on the outside with a small gate. It was only phone calls that couldn't go through that what raised the alarm, and they were discovered dead in their house. Their own houseman was lying outside their room while his wife was lying in the sitting room, according to the story. Details of it here. The man is in his 70s. And the wife, late 50s. Man is a pastor. So his Apostle Augustine Gbadema, founder and leader of the Harmony with Jesus Ministry International, and his wife were both reported to have been killed. Police is investigating this matter. Also on the front page, he was a father for all. John Mahama eulogizes professor at Tamales at 9th Wreath Lane ceremony. Security analyst urges president to confirm Ekofu Dampare as substantive IGP, and government to establish girls' STEM senior high school in Accra. From the Republic Press newspaper, let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, President reinforces COVID-19 restrictions, ban on post-event receptions, mass gathering last 2 hours. The Noguchi sounds alarm bells over invisible Delta variant. That story is also here. Reclaim mining sites for farming. Council of State chairman making that call. It was in our news a while ago. In the center spread, there's a news feature on understanding role of population in sustainable development. Why am I experiencing urinary incontinence? Well, it's quite a big word, but you might want to check it out. According to details of the story, it happens when one loses control of his or her bladder. In some cases, the bladder's contents are completely empty. In other cases, there might be only some leakage. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Hearts, Ash Gold, others in the MTN FA Cup semis. Gold Stars, Accra Lions, RTU for Premier League. I didn't see Kotoko, did I? Oh, because Chelsea damned Kotoko. So yeah, that's how come I didn't see that. But yeah, it is here. So on the back page, you see players and officials of the great Accra Hearts of Oak after defeating Elmina Sharks to qualify for the semi-finals of the MTN FA Cup. I should move and go and do sports. Like, you know, the general news, no, it's not helping. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the Daily Dispatch, lack of parliamentary approval, increasing infections and availability of vaccines were foremost on my mind, according to the Minister of Health. Overview of Dankwa Buzia tradition in Ghanaian politics. Supporters of homosexuality and lesbianism could be jailed for 10 years. And John Mahama says, I will contest 2024 elections. My last paper will be the Economy Times. Economy Times newspaper, front page, Ghana's public debt raises to 332.4 billion Ghana cedis. IMF calls for fiscal consolidation to address debts and rollover risk. And Bank of Ghana likely to hold policy rate at 13.5%. The front page of the Economy Times newspaper. All right, Joe, I'm done with the papers that I have by way of what's on the front and back pages of the papers. I want to talk about what's the major headline, the President's 26th address on COVID-19. The Daily Graphic puts it this way, that President reinforces COVID-19 restrictions. So I guess there's an agreement that we actually had some restrictions in place, except that it didn't feel like it because blatantly top officials, everybody, well, not everybody, most people, including those who are supposed to lead by example, just blatantly ignored the protocols. I don't have confidence in people doing what the president said we should do yesterday. I don't know about you.
To listen to the address yesterday, I was very reluctant about listening to it. But I mean, eventually I had to look out for whether there are any fresh or tighter measures that will be rolled out. And so the changes really that came out is just the receptions that accompany the funerals and the weddings, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
But Joe, wait, hold on. That is not new. Before this address, what was in existence was the fact that you could only do the church. You could do the church service, and after that, not more than 25 persons could go and bury the dead. And you don't come back to do a reception. That was already in place.
I mean, and yes, and so the point is that, I mean, clearly, you summed it up. You just hit the nail right on the head, that we've just thrown the restrictions out there from all quarters, starting from that big Sir John funeral to this point. I mean, sorry, those who the party people who you may not be happy that we'll make this reference, but it still remains a reference point because it was one of the biggest funerals that we've had quite recently. And so I mean, we can't scientifically blame it for our current situation, but the fact of the matter is that it was an event that had the creme de la creme of society in attendance, and a perfect reminder of the fact that, well, we are tired of the restrictions. We are going to just break it and go around in our numbers and do what we want to do. I mean, I think we all generally agree that we are in a precarious situation, and it's high time that we all come around the table and figure it out. And listening to the experts yesterday, listening to the DG of the health service, it boils down to the same point, really. There's no magic anywhere. We just have to wear our mask and sanitize and try and distance among others. That is the only solution, really, because our vaccination drive is really not anywhere. I mean, 80%, close to 90% of the population is not vaccinated. And even if you are vaccinated, the attendant challenges are still there anyways. And so it just comes back to the same point. And what is really amazing for me is that, you know, if you go out of Accra, there is no compliance, yet the case counts are very low. And that is what amazes me. So it tells you that the virus is actually very active in Accra, because it appears perhaps that people who live in Accra and Kumasi are exposed to individuals who have the virus. And so when they also defy the directives, then it actually gets worse. Because out of Accra, I mean, just go to Kaswa, just go to Cape Coast, just go to Takrady, anywhere, and you don't see people in masks. But fortunately, we are not seeing those situations. But it has the potential now that we are getting to the levels that we are getting to. And so, I mean, the advice generally, and I didn't hear anything about enforcement, which was the first result in some times past. I don't know what you make of that.
Enforcement?
Yes, as we are deployed, you know, the police and the soldiers at some point in time.
You know, somehow the police, military, you know, they are for the people. You know that. When big people do it and you can't either arrest them or deal with them, you will feel guilty within yourself to deal with the ordinary person. And I think that's just what's happened, because people will begin to cite examples and tell you, and they will make you feel bad as an enforcement officer, because you know that even within your own ranks, you're not doing the right thing. So how dare you go out there to the ordinary person? Is it because they are, or we are, quote unquote, ordinary? You think that you can deal with us, but the other people you cannot. I mean, it's sad, isn't it? Because this is it. Then it becomes like an uncontrollable situation. Even though you are a leader, you can't lead and you can't enforce anything. That's what happens when you let go. And unfortunately, that's where we are. We can only appeal to people's consciences. We can say that, listen, for yourself and for your family, do the right thing. But apart from that, I really don't know what else we could do, honestly. We missed it. We've seen it in other places. And people will say, oh, yeah, this is Ghana. Other places where people have just, they haven't gone to do a funeral. They've just gone out when they were not supposed to, because there's a general restriction in place. We've seen them resign. People break one small protocol. They take a huge step.
Yeah, I mean, I this official in the UK who kissed the assistant that he was working with. I mean, he resigned. I thought it was because he was actually married, but when I read the story, it was actually because of it amounted to a breach of the COVID protocol, and that's why he had resigned. And so, yes, of course, that's where it leaves us, and it brings into sharp focus yet again the ongoing probe in Parliament involving the minister and how he had decided to sidestep all our fine regulations because he was simply frustrated and wanted to save our lives by getting vaccines. I mean, we don't know what will happen in terms of the outcome of that probe.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the microphone, we've got the means. We will continue to appeal to people and tell the stories and hope that they do the right thing. But once leadership hasn't shown example, we don't know what's going to be. Listen, I don't have confidence that today people will begin to do the right thing. I don't, but I know that I will. And if I find anybody around me, I will remind them to do the right thing. But that's as far as we can go. I think that should be the
starting point. I mean, we should all encourage each other to. Yeah. Let's take. I saw some post about an inscription behind a car. I'll send it to you later. I can't say it on air now, but it's about our leaders and what they are. I mean, I think we should all take the leadership issues at our local levels and just try and stick to the protocols, try and wear the mask. I mean, I think there's the story that has stuck with me around.
Oh, Joe, you were boasting about the internet connectivity, and there you are, frozen in the middle of it. Joseph Akable will be back, I guess. Joseph?
Yes, it's a young lady who had COVID-19 and had been sick for 1 year. I mean, the longest COVID patient here in Ghana. I mean, 1 year, and she's struggling to breathe. Like, she's been on respirator. She can't walk anymore. I mean, I was talking to Benny. She said the situation has not changed for her. I mean, look, this is a serious disease, and its effect on anyone is quite different. So we just have to. The leadership is within us. Let's not. I mean, yes, the social contract here, we've given power to people to take the right decisions for us. But I mean, clearly there are periods that they forget that responsibility and become just like us, and we continue to be ourselves, define the rules also. So we just have to remind ourselves and stick to them.
We need the heads of the institutions, the hospitals, and the various health facilities to begin to tell the true picture in terms of how this is weighing on them. I guess that will also send a message to the people, because as for leadership there, they may say that we don't trust them. Listen, they say this and they turn around and say another thing. Who knows where the next party will be for them? So we need people to now come out and tell the true story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any story you want to head on?
I mean, I think the issue of the cop who was buried. I mean, it's a very sad one there. And one of my colleagues is actually a police officer, and she was telling me about how such deaths really affects the morale in camp. And when it happens that way, she's with the investigations department. It says they just go all out, and their aim is always just to find those who are involved in it. That's the only thing that can bring back their morale, like can just encourage them, because when a policeman dies, in their minds, they are like, it could happen to me at any point, because each time they are engaged, like I've said, it's a moving target, and it's a moving target. It's money.
They say it's
like
a
millions
bull
of
van.
police moving.
Bull van, Echo describes it.
Oh, I saw one that said bulu. They say bulu, not bullion. Bulu van.
Yeah.
I mean, and you were spot on in saying that something that looks like a bullion van. I saw a video from South Africa where the proper bullion van was under attack for about 15 minutes, and you know, the gunshots, like they kept firing, and it just couldn't break into it. And within that 15 minutes, he had radioed the head office. He had spoken to the security people. He had given them locations and everything, and eventually the guys were able to come to their aid, and so they couldn't even get access to the vehicle itself. But I mean, we saw what's happening in our situation. It's very worrying, and I mean, I think the best the state can do for this gentleman and his family. I mean, when I heard the promotion, it's something really that does not really excite me, because I mean, if he had been in a service, he would have to struggle and write exams and all those things to get promoted. I mean, what they can do is to ensure that this type of debt does not happen again, and also go all out to find the individuals involved.
Yeah. On that note, let's do myjoyonline.com with a minute or so that we have left. Ghana to receive over 18 million COVID-19 vaccines in third quarter of the year, according to the president. MFR Apau, you can get a playback of that. Government commits $25 million to establish National Vaccine Institute for local manufacture. That's a revelation by the president yesterday in his address. I saw the comments as, you know, we were showing the address, and people were saying, oh, how about the hospitals, the 88 hospitals, Mr. President? We haven't seen anything. Now there's an institute. So people will begin to ask questions when there are new revelations or new promises. Trust. On the anti-LGBT bill, all justification and support are not grounded in science. That's from your conversation on the law, Joseph. It appears Ghana is experiencing a third wave of COVID-19. Decline in wearing face masks in public, extremely troubling. And, you know, everything has been uncovered, really, from yesterday's address. All right, Joe, what are you looking forward to this week? It's a fresh week.
I mean, we'll still see how the issues about the Sputnik V probe, how that will unfold. And I mean, hopefully this whole assurances about some vaccines possibly coming into, we'll see how that will also pan out. And I'm just hopeful that it will be a week of respect for the protocols, just so that we can all continue to survive and live peacefully. I understand the special prosecutor too. Maybe he may be sworn into office this week. So let's see how that also goes. That is once it comes over to the plenary for that approval to begin.
Yeah, I think Joseph Opoku-Gakpo was saying maybe Tuesday we'll see that he should come up on the floor of Parliament. He's received approval, unanimous approval from the Appointments Committee. Well, the GLC, Joseph, nothing from the GLC with the ongoing lawyer FIFA and the CJ and all those matters?
Oh, I was keeping information from you. There's a story that we've actually worked on. I think it will be up on my Joy Online this morning, just in some few hours time.
Yeah.
We've obtained some documents that shows how this chief Ojedong
yes,
Brani Kwesiata had tried on 2 occasions to get 2 judges off his case, including the Chief Justice, who is being accused that he had bribed, and Justice Jones Duche.
Oh.
He had actually petitioned the CJ asking that those 2 judges get off the case. I'm keeping the details. They will be on my Joy Online shortly.
Interesting. I'll keep refreshing my JoyOnline.com. Joseph Akablay, have a good week. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, yeah?
Same time.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the review segment of our show. We've got sports coming up. Muftal Abdullah Nabila comes up next. And I know that he will be talking about the MTA FA Cup. But just in case he doesn't touch on the fact that Kotoko were dumped, I am telling you, stay for sports.
We termed it a year of return for clubs in Tamale, and indeed a club in Tamale has qualified to the Ghana Premier League for the first time since they were demoted into the lower division in the 2012-2013 Premier League season. And this club is RTU after they defeated Unistar Academy by 2-0 in the last game of the Division 1 League. And also in the Tokyo Olympic Games is leadership by examples, as Black Mombers captain Suleiman Tete defeated his opponent Rodrigo de la Rosa by 3-2 victory. And also we're talking about Isaac Dogbe. He has hinted of a potential trilogy against Emmanuel Navarrete. This is AM Sports with me, Muftal Nabila Abda. Let's talk about RTU's qualification to the Ghana Premier League. And they made a return for the first time since 2013 when they were demoted into the lower division of the country's football. Following a 2-0 victory in their last game of the season, they secured qualification back into the top flight.
Baba Kushibo, Labando, Mustafa Fichene, trying to get some space to shoot. A chance and Yakubu Labando. Labando, Mustafa Fichene, trying to get some space to shoot. A chance and goal! Yakubu Labando opens the floodgates here at the Aliou Mama Sports Stadium. That was a beautiful cross from Mustafa Fichene and an exquisite finish from the former Bewa FC striker Baba Kushibo. Labando, Mustafa Fichene, trying to get some space to shoot. A chance and goal! Yakubu Labando opens the floodgates here at the Aliou Mama Sports Stadium. That was a beautiful cross from Mustafa Fichene and an exquisite finish from the former Bewa FC striker. Very intelligent goal there from Yakubu Labando. 3 in the last 2 for the former under-20 youth player. So it's Real Tamale United 1, Unity FC 0. Mustafa Viseni also there. Let's see. Yakubu Labando makes it 2 for RTU. An intelligent player, but that was a strike, a powerful one from Hadi. The goalkeeper, after saving the situation for the first time, the rebound coming from Yakubu Labando. It is 2-0 for RTU.
Aliou Mama Sports Stadium. Unity FC 0. Hey!
Wonderful, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate the love and the support the fans are giving to us. Yeah, and we don't have to say anything than to give everything to Allah. It's only Allah who has done it for us. Yes, that's what I have.
All right, so Idrisu Shakur Abdul Shakur is the man and the top scorer for Real Tamale United. Ronald Frimpong came on in the second windows, and of course, he has registered 10 goals for RTU. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
How is the excitement like?
Why you not?
How is the excitement like?
Yeah. It's inexplicable, you know. Coming all the way from Division 1 to the top flight is not easy. But with the colleagues and with the coaches, thank God, we've made it to the Premier League. And we are staying. Why you not?
Let's hear from the man who masterminded this success for RTU, Ibrahim Tanko, and he says that they believed very well in this last game against Unity FC. They were going to qualify to the Ghana Premier League.
The feeling was good in the sense that my philosophy is always to see people, to make people happy. That is my joy. I enjoy seeing people being happy around me. So I was happy the way people were happy about the whole show.
Yes. So at which point did you guys realize that you had won it? Because the Bofua Kwatano Brikuma game was still ongoing.
Yes. Immediately our match ended, I heard some noise in the background because there wasn't spectators on the field. I heard it from outside. Where you na. So I told myself, have we qualified? Then by that time the referee whistle had gone, so they started running into the stadium. So jubilation started.
And then you realized, because for a long time that game was goalless, and you knew that at any point in time, Kwatano could score a goal and get the 3 points, but it was...
Yes.
But we
had our goals on time.
But going into the match, I mean, what was going through your mind? Because you knew that this is Bofua Kwatano versus Bekum Arsenal. They were saying Bofun Koso, what in Koso. Yes. I mean, what was going through your mind?
I believe in the last straw. Yeah, so I came to the boys at the last. Mostly that's what I do. My assistant coach, I tell him what we have to do for the match and all that. So he does it on my behalf. So I told him that, look, when I came in, I said, look, gentlemen, my instincts is telling me that we shall qualify. So we should play all out. They shouldn't give up. So if you saw how we played, we pressed throughout. We pressed the opponents to really get a goal. That was what we did until the final whistle.
From RTU, let's do FA Cup news where Kumasi Asante Kotoko, defending champions of the trophy, have been eliminated from competition after losing 4-5 on penalties to Brekum Chelsea. Wahab Adams sky-high his penalty as the Porcupine Warriors were knocked out of the competition.
Look at him. It took a ricochet of Apple.
Before Asante Kotoko were in action, their rivals Hasselhoff had already come up against Elmina Sharks. That game went into extra time, and it took Caleb Amankwa's stupendous free kick to hand Hasselhoff an opportunity of winning the last 4 of the competition.
Daniel Nietzsche gives it away here. Franklin Owusu. Good ball to Fatal Mohammed. The captain has got Amankwa drifting to the right. Good ball to Fatal Mohammed. The captain has got Amankwa drifting to the right. He goes right in the middle to Barnier. Nasty challenge from Isia. The good call from the referee. Free kick for Hatsabok.
It's a tired challenge. It's a tired challenge. As soon as he went down, he knew he didn't need to commit to it. But Barnier does well on the stretch. Just get something on the ball away from his man.
It's Caleb Amankwa. Beautiful goal. Magnificent. Stupendous. This is simply fantastic. Caleb Amankwa scores the opener for the Phobians in magnificent fashion.
What an execution by Caleb Amankwa. Talk about technique. Talk about style. Talk about skill. The ball over the top of the wall, the tip in time. But question marks about goalkeeping here. The wall broke. The ball went right over the wall. The wall didn't jump. But I think the goalkeeper should be doing a lot better with it. That is to take nothing away from the execution. It was perfect. But the goalkeeper really should be getting this onto this one because it's right down the middle. It should be parrying it over the top of the bar. But that is the goal that gives the Phobians the lead.
This is the hallmark of true champions. They know exactly what they want. They never give up.
Now let's talk about Isaac Dogbe. He lost back-to-back fights against Emmanuel Navarrete, and this forced him to move up in weight to the featherweight division. Now he says that there's a potential trilogy against the Mexican.
At the end of the day, Navarrete is the only fighter that has beaten me in my boxing career, professional career so far. So I do not get offended. I mean, listen. You know, I keep saying that Navarrete and I, you know, we're in the same division. There's a possibility, you know, with our dear listeners out there, there is a possibility that we could fight again. I don't know when, but it may happen. It may or may not happen. By the end of the day, Navarrete is in my focus at this moment. Our focus is winning another world title. My focus is preparing and doing the necessary things that I need to do to get in position to fight for another world title. When it happens, hey, listen, I know where I went wrong. I know the things that went wrong. And I know the people, the team that I am working with right now. I know their capabilities. They know my capabilities. They know my strengths and my weaknesses. We have weighed Navarrete. But like I said, he isn't my main focus. Sometimes you have to take a loss and learn from it. Sometimes the loss may make you make changes, you know, and make you rediscover yourself to see the kind of person that you are. And I feel and I believe that I have really discovered the person of whom I am. Listen, I do not feel that it was a loss. I feel it was a learning curve. It was something I had to go through to see the kind of man that I am, the kind of person that I am made of.
Isaac Dogbe, a potential trilogy against the Mexican who beat him back-to-back. Well, we can only wait as time has got the answer for his wish. On this note, we say thanks very much for joining us for AM Sports. I am Muftau Nabila Abla. There's more sports on my joyonline.com. AM Show continues.
Number of new COVID-19 cases recorded across the region. The region, as of June 2021, recorded a total of 1,456 cumulative COVID-19 cases with a case fatality rate of 1.74%. Regional Health Director Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng disclosed to JoyNews that the region had recorded a total of 77 new cases over the past 2 weeks, a situation he described as worrying.
The first wave, we got 788, and the second wave, we are having 745. But the reason why we are having this interaction is that for the past 2 weeks, we had gotten a total of 77 cases after kind of a virtual silence. So if we know the total number of deaths are 27, the first wave there were 14 deaths, and the second wave there are 13 deaths. So the total case fatality rate that we have recorded in Bono East is 1.7, and this is way above the national figure of 0.6. So this is what we have at Bono East. In terms of where the cases are actually coming from, we have about 31 of them coming from Pro East, and then 16 of them coming from Nkranza South, 10 of them coming from Kintampo North, and then 20 from Techiman Municipal.
The increase in the number of cases across the region, according to Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, is as a result of the neglect to safety COVID-19 protocols.
One thing that we have recognized is that people are kind of, they are done with the hand hygiene. People really don't use the alcohol anymore. But you can be wearing your mask, but you can infect yourself if you don't really practice good hygiene. So we are intrigued that we still continue and go back to the hand hygiene. People are even started hugging, shaking hands, and they are done away with all the other protocols that we are supposed to. So we should go back and then adhere to the protocols.
He added that about 34% of the total cases recorded are health workers, and this is because health workers do not adhere to the basic standard precautions of COVID-19 protocols.
And then our health workers are still having infection. So, we have a total number of almost about 500 of these cases being health workers, putting the percentage to about 34%. But we still have a challenge with our staff adhering to the basic standard precautions.
Authorities in the region are, however, putting in measures to help contain the situation. Key amongst them is the region's decision to ensure that all hospitals across the region manage positive COVID cases.
Bono East, every facility that manage or admit cases, we are managing moderate cases of COVID. We only refer COVID when it's critical and refer it to a facility that has been mandated to manage severe. Every hospital, private, child, and public, is managing COVID-19. We have communicated that they make sure they have dedicated at least 10 beds to manage the cases.
Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
The COVID-19 task force, which I chair, has recommended that a second look be taken of the protocols that have been put in place for social and public gatherings, in particular weddings and funerals across the country. I have in previous updates emphasized the need for the strict observance of safety protocols at all such gatherings. To ensure that such gatherings do not become the sources of infections, the following must be adhered to by all at these gatherings. Firstly, the wearing of masks continues to be mandatory, and persons must respect the enhanced hygiene protocols. Secondly, all such events must be held in open-air spaces. Thirdly, the duration of such events is limited to 2 hours. Fourthly, there must be observance of the 1 meter social distancing rule. And fifthly, handshakes must be avoided. Furthermore, given that people sitting together to eat, drink, laugh, dance, and talk in large gatherings without masks are the riskiest activities for spreading the virus. All post-event receptions, particularly related to weddings and funerals, are banned. I want to reiterate, the protocols surrounding activities in churches and mosques remain the same as our protocols in schools. With workplaces currently witnessing a resurgence in COVID-19 infections, it is important that owners and management of businesses and workplaces implement strictly the guidelines on staff management and workplace protocols, such as the use of a shift system and technology, mask wearing, social distancing and hygiene protocols, as was required in the earlier days of the pandemic.
And you heard President Akufo-Addo as he spoke to the nation yesterday in his 26th address. We heard earlier, though, from Dr. Fred Adomako-Boateng, Director of Health, the Bono East region. He is joining me for a conversation on the back of all the revolution. Doc, a very good morning to you, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. So 77 cases in 2 weeks. How have you been managing the 77 cases?
Yeah, to just give you a further update, we are now talking about 109 cases now. So you can just see, just within a week, the number of cases that we have gotten from Bono East. The good news for us is that most of the cases are still mild cases. And virtually, we are managing all of them with the home management. So that is the story for Bono East. But you see, as the discussion has been going on, we still are not out of the woods. Virtually in June, we were recording only like 4 cases a week. And just within a space of 3 weeks, we have 109 cases. Then it speaks volume. And that's what we will say. But I just want people to understand that when we say there is an outbreak, unless the outbreak is declared over, all the measures that we have in place should be strictly adhered to, because the potential for this disease to spread, in fact, we don't know where we are still going to end, if you ask me, because it's still evolving and then we don't know much about it. In as much as we are also putting in preventive measures to make sure that we stop the spread, the virus is also evolving. So if you realize, if you compare the first, second, third wave, anytime you have another wave, the rate of spread is so high as compared to the previous one. And so we should also have that in mind that, look, whatever mechanisms that we have in place, at no point should we relax in any of them, because and I'm not a prophet of doom, we are going to have a series of these waves until finally we come to the end. I mean, we should learn lessons from this. And we should also know that anytime we put in stringent measures, especially the hand hygiene and the wearing of masks, how come we are always able to slow it down?
Yeah.
So the problem really is our behavior. And we are most of the time causing the spread of, if you bear with me, most of the time the cases or the case come in one. We had only 1 or 2, but because of our behavior, you see it's like wildfire. Then it is going on. If you go around Bono East, most of our places, you still see people not even in face masks. At times when I enter my office and they see me, and they now put it on. So the understanding has not really gotten to us for us to see that, look, until the pandemic is declared over, at any point in time, we should still abide by the stringent measures because that is our best bet.
Thank you for sharing those, though. But the 109 cases that you have, do you know if it's the Delta variant or a variant that is not so alarming as the Delta?
So we normally infer, the moment, if you see the first wave that came, the Wuhan, and the whole world kind of got it. Okay, then we had the UK strain and the South African, and the UK strain became the dominant one across the world. And then we had the India one. So we kind of had been having virtually silence for all these cases till the inception of Delta. So the moment you bring it, it means that we have been able to curtail it. And then suddenly there is an explosion. Obviously, it means something is happening. And with the data that we have across the country, you can definitely infer. I can give you a typical example of one of the scenarios that we had. 3 of the cases that were confirmed positive, we had 9 of their contacts being positive. So within this cluster, about 12 of them were having. And then if you look at the nature of the cases, it follows the trajectory of what Delta is doing. Like it comes in cluster, in areas where people are, because the spread and infectivity is so high that if you are not careful, so you see it over, if you come to Bono East, the cases are clustered at Bono East, Pro East, Stetiman, South, and Kranza. So you can see the cluster of where the cases are. So we can definitely infer that it's likely to be Delta variant, which is causing this.
How about, are any of them fully vaccinated, or have they had a first jab at least?
Yeah, so if you have the cases that we have looked at, especially the health workers, half of them were vaccinated, at least have gotten their first one. Half of them have not gotten the first one. So basically it's 50-50 over there. But we understand that once you are vaccinated, even if you have the breakthrough, the severity is not as much as compared to an unvaccinated people. But the question that I want to ask is that if you look at the greater Accra, you look at Ashanti region, basically, I think the vulnerable groups have been vaccinated, even given their second dose, but it's still the hotspots. It's trying to tell us something that within the remit of all these, there are things that we should still continue doing. Look at UK. They are also having a challenge, but virtually majority of them have gotten even their second vaccination. Look at US now that they are also having a challenge. So vaccination is good, but we still have to make sure that the basics, the standard precautions that we are supposed to do, i.e. the face mask and the hand hygiene. My problem is a lot of people are even infecting themselves with a face mask by not using the alcohol as it's supposed to be used. So we can infer that, looking at the trajectory, it's likely to be the Delta, which is causing it. But actually, samples have been taken and they are in the genomic sequence.
I'm curious, though, because a lot of the cases that you have are health workers, and you are supposed to have the tools to protect yourselves. So you can have people, coming in with positive cases, but you shouldn't be as affected, should you, if you are also adhering to the protocols?
So we did, Bono East decided to do a quick study, actually, when we saw our health workers are being infected. So we have done a study with Kintampo Health Research Center, and then we are ready to share the results with other people. But it's amazed us when we looked at the results. We realized that when health workers are exposed to people that they think are having COVID, they put in all the standard precautions. But when health workers are exposed to other people that in their minds, they are not likely to have COVID, they lose their guard. So basic standard precautions that they are supposed to undertake whenever they meet a patient, that is where the problem is coming from. So for us, we've been able to see that, look, the standard precautions should always be adhered to, irrespective of your knowledge about the patient sitting in front of you. And that is the challenge for us. That, look, that is the gap in terms of the standard precaution, your wearing of your mask, using your hand hygiene, your 5 movements, anytime that you are supposed to make sure you sanitize your hand. That is the challenge for us in the health setting. The study we just did, we realized that the logistics were available. The alcohol, all these were available. So, but we realized that the people who really were having the cases as compared to those who didn't adhere to the basic standard precautions that we're having.
Okay. Doc, stay with me because I want to come to the leg of enforcement. But let me welcome to the conversation Professor Alfred Yosin. He's head community health at the UGMC. Prof, a very good morning to you. Suddenly, we are all beginning to talk about this matter again because of where we find ourselves today. Talk to us about, Noguchi has issued a statement, warning about the Delta variant and how it spreads and the cases that they're beginning to record. Talk to us about how this is different from the ones that we've known.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to my colleague, Dr. Adumakun, for educating the public this morning. The Delta variant, as we've come to know, is quite easily transmissible, and it induces a lot of replication in the human, and therefore, as we see, the number of viruses, if we can say it that way, that you can count in somebody who is infected is relatively higher than what we have seen. And once the person harbors a lot of the viruses in the system, then it is much more easier for this one to be transferred from one person to the other. And again, it would then be much more easier relatively for this virus to cause symptoms, signs, and cause the person to have more severe disease than we have previously known. And usually that's how the organisms behave. They behave in ways that will make them be able to affect so many people, so they ensure their survival as well. So when we have variants, then we need to ensure and know that we put in measures to reduce their ability to move from person to person. And that is what the Delta variant is exhibiting now.
A bit of the emphasis from the president's speech yesterday was on funerals and weddings. But we know that there were restrictions already in place, except that, majority of the people, including those in leadership, simply refused to do the right thing. And I want to come to the issue of enforcement. Do you, from where you sit, because yours is community health, will people respect this?
Yeah, so we need to continue to encourage Ghanaians, individuals, and at the community level to take their destiny in their own hands. At the end of the day, our leaders can do as much, and they may falter along the way. But we cannot use that and say that because A and B happen, we are not going to abide by the principles of what we need to do to protect ourselves. I think it is high time we stop that and put all our shoulders to the wheel and see that we are all in the fight together.
But how do we change mindsets? How do we change mindsets within communities? I mean, if you go to workplaces, you find that maybe a majority of the people are abiding because it's a corporate environment, if you like. If you go to the market, they are simply not adhering. And it's been like that for a long time. Now it's gotten worse. If you go to communities where you live, you'd find that majority of the people are simply not bothered.
Yes, certainly, because it fits into the general picture of we letting our guards down and thinking all is well. All is not well. So one, we need to step up the public education in the communities at the lower levels using the health information system and the health care system as Dr. Adumako indicated. And also, we always encourage the use of what we call community-based organizations, Queen Mothers Group, Market Women Group. If the chief of the market chief, insists that if you don't wear masks, you can't sell in my market, believe you me, these are very powerful and strong structures we can use. So we need to encourage these local systems that we have. The chiefs, the Jasi chair, the man chair, all those people at the local level have some level of authority, and we need to solicit their support in this regard, while the health system and the information ministry tries to do the former things. We need to go down our religious leaders, traditional leaders. We need their support at this time. If they live by example, by and large, many of the people in the communities will follow their example. And above all, we ensure enforcement. In public health, if all else fails, legislation, getting people to face the sanction as it were. Again, if we want the sanctions to be ensured, what we will encourage is that if, for example, police is ensuring and getting people to clean, do other things, at the end of the day, they should be able to provide them with masks. That is the essence. So you don't just punish the person and let the person go spreading it. We should be able to support them with masks. So after getting you to do what you have to do because you are not wearing masks, we give you a mask that wear it and go and sin no more. As we say, these are measures that we can easily put in the community to get people to comply. So we need to, much as we need to ensure sanction, we also need to provide an enabling environment for people to be able to comply. And I think we should look at that seriously.
The difficulty, though, is that some of the enforcers themselves are not even adhering to the protocols. But let me go to Dr. Adumako Boateng, because I wanted to talk to you about enforcement. What are some of the strategies that you're putting in place in Bono East, to be specific? Hello, Dr. Adumako Boateng, are you still with me?
Yes, I need to repeat.
I wanted to know about, because we're talking about enforcement, I want to know how you intend changing either the mindsets of people or how you intend enforcing these protocols that has been re-emphasized by the president.
Thank you. You know, the Ebola, I went to Liberia and Sierra Leone, and I engaged the people. The then leader of the delegation was the UNICEF, and he made a very strong statement. He said, "Dog, we were able to handle Ebola when the community leaders, the traditional leaders, decided to lead the fight. When they saw the transmission and how to break transmission, this is how we overcame Ebola. Health is generated by the population, is by the leaders. And until we see that, and see that the religious leaders, the traditional leaders, the opinion leaders within the communities where we live will champion this cause, then we have a long way to go. Because you see, at the end of the day, what the drivers of this deeply are rooted in our cultural, social, and traditional lifestyle. So that if the leaders of these will come to that point to accept that, look, we have to lead this fight. We have won the fight. Can you imagine the chief in the community make a declaration that everybody is wearing masks and wherever you are going, you are supposed to be in having your hand hygiene? It's powerful than any. So they have to really come on board. The Islamic, the Christian, traditional leaders. And for us to understand, I always ask myself, as we engage in this discussion, the common people who are now at Makola, sorry for me to say, KGTR, other people, are they privy to the discussions that we are having now? And how do they get to know the importance of all these? Mind you,
if you really have the understanding, the cooperation is higher. And until it gets down there, for these people who generate health to really grasp, we have along, how do we engage our traditional leaders? For us, it's the chiefs who really are leading this. And the traditional leaders, so we have to let them lead it. They will have to run with it, because at the end of the day, it's the community that is going to help us overcome this. And as I said, they are not out of the wood yet. It will be going in circles until the virus actually is burnt out, or we have been able to vaccinate a higher majority of the global world, because COVID anyway is COVID everywhere, irrespective of the number. So we will have to get to them. We will have to have a strategy to let the communities, the common people pick it up and say, because the things that we are asking, to me, it sounds simple, but they are not difficult if people really to understand. Because for us to have our lives back, these are things that we do.
Yeah.
Mind you,
but Dr. Adumaku Boateng, if you can hear me, Dr. Adumaku Boateng, if you can hear me, I want to specifically know the strategy that you're putting in place in the Bono East region. These things that you're telling us about, involvement of traditional people and religious grouping, is that something that you're doing in your own region?
Yes. Whenever we are having meeting, it's chaired by the president of the Bono East House of Chiefs. So, it's led by the minister. In fact, last week, we had on Friday, the minister is going to have a meeting with all the RCC so that we will have to discuss this issue. And then he is also going to instruct the district together with the district health team to do. Okay. That is one thing that we. So
I asked this because I wanted to measure the impact of
what we are doing as a.
No, I just wanted to measure the impact that these collaborations have been. If indeed there is some sort of collaboration, then why aren't we seeing the results? But we are rather seeing cases going up.
It is still behavioral issues, and it's not an event; it's a process. So we.
Oh, it looks like the connection has just gone a little bad. We will get Dr. Fred Adumaku Boateng back on the line. But let me go to Professor Alfred Yorsing. He's head of community health at the University of Ghana Medical School. Prof, let's talk about enforcement now. How do we, because there were a number of people, like a constituency that didn't believe in this whole virus thing. And then we went to sleep for a long time. We're now back awake. How do we change the narrative?
Yes, that in terms of the community and public level has been the challenge. As I always say, initially it was stigma. Then we were able to deal with the stigma, and now the persistence of the denial of the existence of the disease, even in the face of rising numbers and increased mortality within the space of 2-3 weeks. We need to continue the education as we are doing, and using the media as you are doing, and also other local language stations. So we continue to engage, we continue to probably get people who have been through the condition to continue to talk. As Fred said, it is a process. We continually need to. We started talking about family planning several years ago. We still have challenges with that. So it is not something that we can achieve in a matter of days. Because of that, we do not have to stop. We need to continue increasing the effort day in, day out. It is not going to be easy or rosy, and also legislations alone will not help. We need to encourage people to see it as part of their daily routines that they go through. Even though wearing masks is uncomfortable, for the sake of yourself and that of your family and others, we need to self-sacrifice in matters of this nature. And that is the appeal we need to get the public to understand, that the disease does not discriminate. between the rich and the poor and the person living in Accra and elsewhere. We are all in this together, and as we say, COVID somewhere is COVID everywhere in the country. So it is a process, and all agencies whose responsibility it is to get this information to the public should be encouraged to do more. If it is support, budgetary support, financial support, logistics, we need to encourage these agencies to be at their optimum in this phase. We've done so well for ourselves, and we shouldn't allow this third wave to undo all the good things we've done. And believe you me, as we say, if Ghanaians start wearing the masks and doing the hand sanitizing and washing their hands, you will see that in the next few weeks, things will get better. That is all we need. No matter the variants that we are having, it is always going to be the basic principles of prevention. Wearing the mask, maintaining social distances, and avoiding the mass gathering, especially in the funerals and all that. In the past few months, it's as if no legislations or no ban is on these things, and people do this with careless abandon. And we can't go on like that. So this big event, yes, we need to stop them, and that one, they are easy to stop. And also at the individual level, we need to continue to educate, encourage, and then enforce when it's needed. Prof, so that is what we need to do.
Absolutely. Prof, thank you so much for your time. Let me wrap up with you, Dr. Adomako Boateng, if you're still with me and if you can hear me. Just finally, I want to touch on your health facilities in the Bono East region. Hopefully they are not overwhelmed. Can you tell us or paint the picture in terms of how it looks like?
Okay, so we are not so blessed like Greater Accra and Ashanti region, but we are making to do what we have. We have decided.
Dr. Boateng, I can hear you. If it's not the network that's gone bad, okay. Unfortunately, I think the network will not help us continue this conversation. But we're just at the tail end, wrapping up this conversation. Just the last bit about how the Bono East, the health facilities are coping with this over 100 cases that they've recorded so far. Thankfully, I think at the beginning of his presentation, he did indicate that the cases are being home managed. So the hope really is that the facilities will not be overwhelmed. Dr. Fred Adomako Boateng, Director of Health, Bono East Region, joining us on this conversation. Also, Professor Yorsing is the head of community health at the University of Ghana Medical School. He also joined in this conversation. Well, we can only keep reminding you that COVID is real, still very much with us. Look at me, I'm sitting alone here, but wearing my mask because I share the space with some others. You've got to take the precautions seriously. It is your health, and so you must be responsible for it. When we come back, we're talking about the LGBTQI. Where are we with that debate? And the reactions so far greeting this proposed bill, which really formally is not in Parliament, even though there's been a presentation to the Speaker. I'll be speaking to Reverend Dr. Kwabena Oponing Frimpong. That's coming up ahead on the show. Stay with us. Well, let's talk about the LGBTQI bill. And if you look at the memorandum where it explains the purpose for the bill, it says the object of the bill is to provide for proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values, prescribe LGBTQ plus and related activities, prescribe propaganda of, advocacy for or promotion of LGBTQ, QIAAP+ and related activities, provide for the protection of and support for children, persons who are victims or accused of LGBTQI+ and related activities, and other persons and related matters. I'm sure you know the background of this is a private member's bill that's being pushed to Parliament. It hasn't formally found its way to Parliament yet, but hopefully in the coming days it will. But already there are many people who've been having their say on this. Monitoring has been Reverend Dr. Kwabena Oponing Frimpong, former General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana, but now Executive Director, Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa. Very good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. I think this is what a lot of people were looking forward to. Some documents that will put all the issues together to clarify this matter and I guess to set the record straight. But you've been monitoring the concerns that have been coming in after this bill was made public. So let's hear what you have to say on the back of what has been raised.
Good morning, Mama V, and thanks for the opportunity. And must say that we must congratulate our members of Parliament, the Speaker, and all those who have made this effort. The bill is just a reflection of concern, national concern, Ghanaian concern. It's a representative consciousness of this nation. Even though we have had some individuals who have sponsored the bill, starting from Professor Mills, he gave a national assurance it will never happen. We have heard it from former Speaker of Parliament, Michael Quay, and our current president. How many times he has given verbal assurance it will never happen. But Ghanaians were calling for a legal framework, structures that will protect family values and sanctity of marriage. And it seems to me that is what this bill seeks to assure us. Yes, like you said, Mama V, there are concerns. What I have heard strongly is the sanction, the punishment attached. But that is why the issue is before Parliament. We have a long way to go. So let's allow our members of Parliament to go through, and I pray and hope they will also engage the various constituencies so that their members will come on board and understand. Sometimes such important issues elsewhere, MPs will quickly go to their constituencies and engage the people. We normally don't have such. I hope that such things will happen so that ordinary people can be on board as we work through this process. How
about the concerns of the suppression of other persons' human rights and freedoms? Because as you know, the Constitution, stands for the fact that people should be free. Freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of worship. And some people see this as a way of sitting on other people's freedom.
Yeah, that is why it seems to me we need a law to regulate this. If armed robbers have rights, that if you arrest a thief, armed robber, you don't just start stoning them, they have rights. But the right must be packaged properly so that you know what you can do, what you cannot do. So it seems to me that is the journey we have started. And we must know this is not a Ghanaian issue. Now elsewhere in some European countries, some European Union countries are also enacting laws to protect children that don't do LGBT conversation in academic institutions, in schools, because we want to protect our children. So this is happening in some European Union countries. Even in the US, some states are also working on laws for transgender women, men who have become women who want to do athletic sports with women. Now we are having Olympic Games, and now you have transgender men who want to compete with women. And these are all human rights issues. So we need a broader perspective on the subject. So the mere fact that somebody walks to me and say that this is my human right. Now, when I travel and I want washroom, I also want washroom that suggests to me I'm entering into a male or female washroom. Now, people are not sure because a male feel that he or she is a woman and entering into a female space. So human rights should not just be so parochial that one person says that I feel queer, I'm a human, but I'm not human. I've only been arrested. I'm 40 years, but I feel like I'm a baby. Treat me as such. Now you find people, human beings, who feel that they are dogs. And they go to shopping malls with chains around their waist, behaving, barking like dogs. Now, while you have your human right, you must also know that sanctity of society must be protected. So I agree with you, Mama V, but that is why we need legal framework to protect human rights, not only individuals' right, but the collective right of societies.
Well, why also punish someone for advocating or pushing for what they also believe in? Because there's a portion of this bill that seeks to do exactly that, so that you can't even advocate.
It's not as simple as that. Now, elsewhere, we haven't seen that in this country. Recently, Methodist Church in UK met in London. If you want to insist that this is somebody's right. And now Methodist Church is splitting. You know, their recent meeting in London. So it's affecting church. Baptist Church in the US is splitting. Presbyterian Church in the US is splitting. Some parents are thinking about their children. So we should not just stop there that, oh, but why are you doing this to me? What we are in a society, if we don't protect other people, what start as just one person on the individual will end up, even those of us in church. Now you go to church, in fact, somewhere in the US, people who are baking cakes, selling flowers. Now, to sell or not to sell is an issue. If you decide that you won't bake a wedding cake for, say, same-sex couples, you are in trouble. You are going to jail. So, yes, we must listen to such views, but we must also know that we are in the ship together. So there's nothing like exclusive right that this is me alone. Tomorrow morning, what affect that person eventually will affect me. But again, that is why we need the bill, so that we work it in such a way that we also protect every Ghanaian citizen. So at the end of the day, it's not just 2-3 people who meet somewhere and they want to punish people. Let Ghanaian voices be heard, and let every voice be heard, so that at the end of the day, we get what reflects our national consciousness. But no matter what, Ghanaians must protect family values and sanctity of marriage. LGBTQ+ should not be part of our national cultural identity.
And Rev, I'm sure you've heard some people say that at this point in time in our lives as Ghanaians, is this the most important subject matter, so that we will spend all our efforts and be encouraging this bill? Is this the most pressing issue confronting us today?
Oh, Mama V, I don't think even when I come to Joy TV, I'll get this impression. Before our conversation, even you've started rolling an advert coming on Thursday, some political talk shows. So we need a balance. And I think that is what we've been doing. Multimedia, you have a balance. You do all the political conversations, you do social conversations, you are doing students' side, the science, maths and science quiz. So we need a balance, and we should not close doors to any important subject. But I don't get that impression that in picking this conversation with you, all other things are going to be blocked. That is not what you are going to do. And in fact, you have started, you are touching on COVID and all other things. So that is not what we are doing.
Yeah.
But knowing what is happening elsewhere, Mama B, we must arm ourselves as a country.
Yeah, I asked that because, you know, if you look at those MPs spearheading this, one of the attacks, one of the criticisms have been, you sit in Parliament and you think this is the most pressing issue for you to be pushing.
Mama B, I don't think it's a fair reflection. You know, if you look at this year, Parliament, and they are doing very well. So many things have gone on. So if somebody takes that position, maybe the person may have his or her own interest, but there are other things going on. And I may be using your platform also to plead with the sponsors of the bill that they should not position themselves for unnecessary attacks. This bill or this subject we are reflecting on, it is not the individuals who are sponsoring. It's Ghanaian, a reflection of Ghanaian concern. Church leaders, Muslim leaders, traditional leaders, so many people have raised this issue. They have only picked the thoughts of national consensus, and therefore they must position themselves in such a way that they don't receive unnecessary bullets and attack. But we must even salute them. They are doing their job. This issue affects Ghanaians. They are in Parliament to do things that affect us, and they are doing their job. And they must keep the spirit. They must keep the fire. They must get us there.
We're also being reminded that, I mean, the world is together now. By taking a move like this, it will stop people from visiting our country. Yesterday, I was reading about how tourism is likely to go down, and all the progress that we made with the year of return and all the events that we did following that, it will come to nothing because of this one action.
I don't think so, respectfully. You know, one, we have wrote a very important program, Ghana Beyond AIDS. And I pray and hope that it doesn't remain a political soundbite. Sometimes our leaders who raise very important subjects on campaign tours, and they remain a political soundbite. But Ghana Beyond AIDS must not become one of such political soundbite. Now, we are a nation, a sovereign nation. And if we do it right, I believe that other people will also want to see this country that is showing leadership. There are some African countries that are looking for examples. In fact, there are some European countries that are looking for examples. We must not give impression that everybody, in fact, I was in a church in the US, and the pastor told me that there are church members in this church. If they find a pastor who is into same-sex and administering communion, none of the members will walk forward to pick it. So we must not give impression that we've reached a point that the whole world, we have all accepted it. It's not a true reflection, not even in the US, not even in European Union and in Europe. So we can even stand tall that this is a sovereign nation that knows what is good for us, and we push for it as we have in our national anthem, that God help us to resist such rules. So who knows other nations that one day will follow our example. So yes, we may lose some, but we may also equally win some.
Bringing this bill and making it into law, we still have a long way to go. But are you hopeful, though, that this will become law eventually?
You know, we've come, like you said, from very far. Remember, may he rest in peace, Professor Mills, and how he spoke, and the center of that conversation has something to do with UK, and he did it. Then we had a Speaker of Parliament who also came out, and our own president, how many times? You know, so we are getting there. I pray and hope that Ghanaians will rally behind our leaders, and this journey also will remain non-partisan. Normally, when things become MPP and DC for us in this country, it becomes difficult to move it forward. And this group we are talking about, Mama V, you may know they are very powerful, they are very influential, and real heavyweight diplomats and all that. And that is what we need to fight against, because it's not going to be an easy fight, knowing what they've been able to do elsewhere in other countries, even in other, European and elsewhere. But we must win this fight, not for today, but for those who will come after us. Sanctity of marriage, Ghanaian marriage, must be protected. Family values must be protected, and the time is now.
Just finally, is it an issue that this is not spearheaded by the executive, but private persons?
In fact, our president has not given us any impression that will want me to be worried in any way that the executive may one day want to distance themselves, because it seems to me, even if private people have not done it, it might have equally come from the president. I have that impression. So for now, I don't have any reason to believe that His Excellency Nanado or his vice will ever distance themselves from this journey. That would be a serious disappointment. I don't think so.
All right, well, we wait to see when it formally enters Parliament and the conversation and petitions begin to trickle in. For now, though, Reverend Dr. Kwabena Frimpong, I thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me.
Grateful.
And he is the Executive Director, Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa. The conversation continues on all other platforms on social media. Right now, though, here on our show, on the AM show, we want to talk about Alhaji Grunsa as he speaks about King Faisal and the fact that they escaped relegation. It's another Joy Sports feature by Joy Sports editor George Adejenia.
A special interview as we talk about King Faisal. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm fine. I'm very happy. Escaping for relegation come with Eid al-Adha, the celebration of Salah. I thank God.
Okay, good. So the combination was very sweet, eh? King Faisal winning and stay, and then the Eid al-Adha was nice.
Yes.
Very good. Alhaji, tell me, how would you describe the season? How was the season for King Faisal? How would you describe it?
Alhamdulillah, I'm describing the season. It's a difficult season for King Faisal because of the financial problem and lateness. We started the season without even good bus. We are hiring the bus, and we afford to the vice president of the country. He give us help. The CEO of Cocoa Board, Honorable Boahin Edu, he give us help. The Minister of Transport also help us. We pay some of our arrears, winning bonus, and the salary. Left about 2 months, and we able to pay. But we know it's a difficult match. It's a away match, and if you see what we done in the league and the Liberty Professional, what they done, we know inshallah we are going to beat them hands down. But we didn't get it like that. Even the 50 minutes of the game, we should kill the game, but it couldn't come. And our boys God help us. Then we fought for the draw. We get the draw and we qualify.
Good. I saw you jubilating with the boys in the dressing room. That should have been a very special moment.
That is a must. We should jubilate because if we give you something, you have to thank him. The jubilate, my jubilate is say Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd.
Good.
I started the takbir since Sunday. The winning, then we are making the takbir and we met the Eid al-Hajj takbir. Alhamdulillah. I'm saying again, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd.
Good. Alhaji, when you, I'm sure by now you have heard of some of these match fixing allegations with the games that we saw and everything. How disturbed are you when you hear those things?
But it's a shame to Ghana football for you to do kind of these things. If you do it, you should do it on the professional way, not like they did it to me. People are talking. I didn't see the match, but I'm not happy. But inshallah, we are going to talk about it.
How excited were you about Kwame Prepra? Kwame Prepra was one of the fire guys who scored a lot of goals for you. How excited were you for him?
Inshallah, I'm praying for Kwame Prepra to get foreign contract, good team, for him to benefit, and the club also we should benefit. That is my prayer for him.
Okay, so if there are good offers for Kwame Prepra, you let him go before next season?
Inshallah. Whether local or international, we are ready.
Okay, another thing in the season that we saw, Alhaji, was that you had to change coaches. Was it because they were not really doing what you expected them to do?
Yes, changing the coach. If the coach is doing good, then why you are changing him? Why you are changing him? And the Serbian coach is doing his best. We score, he scores. If we score 3, he scores 4. If we score 2, he scores 3. Every match we are scoring and we are losing. And we have to give him a chance to go.
Right. What do you, Alhaji, what do you have to say to people who don't quite understand the way you run your football?
They should learn football. I have 50-something years experience in football. More than that. I was 16-year-old. I started the coach team.
Wow, 16.
16, that is Bono.
Wow.
And then the Aston Village and Cornish Babies. Before we come as the Olympic Babies, then we changed the name to King Faisal Babies, and now we are where we are now.
Wow. So that is good. But generally, you know, you spoke about issues with money. And so I'm sure you are looking out for corporate bodies to come and help you. But that the Ghana Football Association did not get you a sponsor, you know, a cash sponsor. How worrying is that?
Well, it's worrying us too much. They should do their best this league. We shouldn't play without sponsor. How we are living in football, playing football without sponsor. As I don't know, we Ghanaians clubs, maybe some of them have money, but some of us, we are begging people and we are working, but all the football are chopping our money.
What will be your request to corporate bodies to come and who want to come and support Ken Faisal? What would you tell them?
What I'm going to tell them, I'm appealing to anybody who have interest in football business. He should come. We open our hands. We have Egbert Felby as a lawyer. If now it's not practicing because now it's a CEO of petroleum, and we have another lawyer, Dr. Basit Bomba, and we have lawyer Farouk. We have lawyers. If you want to, you bring your proposal through your lawyer, then he meets our lawyer. But this one, the Ghanaians didn't understand. If you told them that they should go to the lawyer, they think you don't want to accept them. Why me, illiterate like me, I will sign the paper without consulting my lawyer? And we need partnership. We need sponsorship.
Very, very good.
But now come a prize with the national team, Black Star and on the 23.
Yeah.
And one of them, and I need also. I'm thinking the football Morrison play. I think they will call him. And we have upcoming player, Zubeiru.
Yeah, Zubeiru, yes, very good player.
Yeah, but I want to take him to Dortmund, inshallah. But I want to started our relationship with Dortmund before, like first. If we get good player, we send to them. They give us money, they give us jersey. We dress in Dortmund dress. And we wanted to start, inshallah.
Yeah. Alaji, for those who don't really know you and know your club, can you just remind them of some of the top players that you have handled?
Yeah. If I started from 60s or 70s, I have Poco Afri, the late Beye. I have Achempo Pele. It's from my team, Kim Faisal, two Olympics babies, two Kumasi cornerstones. We have Joe Debra and his junior brother Isaac Debra.
Wow.
From Kim Faisal. Ibrahim Janko from Kim Faisal. Gambo from Kim Faisal. By Elias Shida also from Kim Faisal. Samuel Osekufo from Kim Faisal. And we have Chimsa from Kim Faisal. All these players are national team. Sele Montari.
Yes.
From Kim Faisal. So many players.
Yes. That's a tall list. A tall list of fantastic players from Kim Faisal.
Yes.
Okay, Alaji, just as we end it, what are your dreams for next season when the Ghana Premier League starts again? The final question.
Inshallah. Now we have 2 days. Eid al-Adha to go. After Eid al-Adha, we are going to meet strategy meeting to get some good boys to play for Kim Faisal. We are going to start it earlier now, inshallah.
Good. Alaji, thank you very much for your time. And we wish you the very best of luck. We are hoping that a lot of sponsors will come on board for Kim Faisal. And we'll see you do very well next season. Thank you so much, Alaji.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Hey, so when people are celebrating winning the league, there are others who are also celebrating equally because they managed to survive relegation. It's a reflection of life, isn't it? What you're hoping, your objective and your accomplishment is not the same as somebody else. But certainly, congratulations to Ken Faisal Football Club. and of course Alhaji Grunsa for surviving another league. That's it for this special feature. Watch out for the next one that George Addo Jr. will put together and we will share with you. We have to take a breather. We'll come back with some show business news with IB.
Here with me, Alodia West Coast. So far, I mean, we've come to the end of the launch of Ghana Music Awards UK. We're expecting a lot. What do you make of, the whole thing? Were your expectations met?
Trust me, I couldn't believe it. I was gobsmacked when I saw the crowd, but that shows you're doing a wonderful job. And I just have to say thank you for even you as well, because if it wasn't the media, we won't be where we are now. Although we're doing it, but the support of the media is pushing us as well. And we just say thank you. But it hasn't been easy, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
So at this point, the question that everybody will be asking is, so what next? What are we expecting on that day come October? What can you say?
The 5th anniversary,
yes.
Trust me, it will blow everyone's mind. Trust me, the 5th anniversary, what we got in store, even me, I'm scared. Trust me.
Okay.
What we got planned for 5th, I can't tell you now, but trust me, you will see it. I'm sure you're going to represent and see for yourself, because you don't want to watch it on TV. You want to be there. So try.
Yeah, I was going to say that I was there last year. Are we? No, it was last 2 years. So considering the fact that the venue is the venue going to change, what exactly is going to change? This is the 5th anniversary.
We have to change the venue. We change the venue. We're changing a lot of stuff. Like we always said, the first one have to be better than the second one. Have to be better than the first one. The third one have to be better than the second one. The fourth one was better than the third one. The fifth one, trust me, you guys, like my brother said, the lineup and stuff that we want to do, we just want to take Ghana music to another level. Trust me. And I can't say, you guys have to wait and see.
And of course, we're positive that Alodia promotion and West Coast promotion will take Ghana music to the rest of the world and project it in a good light, which is the reason why we are having this launch. So, well, look out for a whole lot more from these two. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
UK, and the launch is happening tonight here at La Palm Royal Beach Resort, and a lot of people are already coming here. The people who make the Ghanaian music industry a thing to want to love are all here. This is one of those people. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Well, tonight, it looks like from now till the end of December, Ghana music is going to be very rife in UK, especially so with this award scheme. Well, tonight you're going to be on the stage, right? We are going to see you relive the moment of performance.
Mm-hmm.
First off, tell me how has this year been with our music industry, especially with the gospel?
It's been awesome. I mean, the gospel is raining everywhere.
Isn't that true?
Raining.
And how has it been for you? I mean, looking at post-COVID and everything, how has it been for you?
It has really opened our eyes to different means of doing things, and it has helped us to embrace the virtual world. And so music is selling online. People are watching our videos. We are getting gigs here and there, so it's working.
There's been a conversation that it is better, you make more money selling CDs than even now with the digital streaming. I don't know how it is for you. Which of them is making you more money, or which of them do you think would have made you more money? Online, digital streaming, or selling of CDs?
Digital streaming. I mean, anyone who says CD sales was better than digital streaming is definitely not updated. It's not current. If you are current, I mean, online sales is the best. I mean, you do everything at the comfort of your own. You don't have to go. I remember those days where you have to queue up for CDs to be printed, duplicated, and you have to wait for days and disappointment on the eve to your launching and all that. I mean, in our world today, all those things are no more, So you sit on your home, upload your songs, you are able to follow your statistics, know where is doing well, know where, so it's actually better now.
Easy life, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better now.
Well, all the best on tonight on the show. I know you're going behind the microphone.
Thank you.
What should we expect?
Tonight is just an introduction of the main thing, so yeah, we'll do something.
In any category, okay, we are yet to hear the categories, right?
Yes.
How many categories do you think you're going to make it to?
Challenge, I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was it, Celestine Donko, and I have, well, please walk to me. Walk to me. What's up, my man?
Ade, boss, everything.
Where you go hide from me?
Dog me.
Me, mom, I dog you.
Oh, you dog me.
Really?
I go to jail, I no see you for that. Yo, put it online. I go there, then I go to put me for jail. You know, can't visit me.
It was very limited.
What's limited?
I mean, visitation.
No, it be open place.
It be open place.
Yes, they carry me go BNI. From there, they take me go the West Self for Ghana. I never see you for there.
Charlie, I couldn't hold myself seeing you. I couldn't hold myself seeing you behind the bars.
After I come out to, I know hear of you.
Yeah, after I come out, I they look for you. I need to see you.
So now will you see me? Hey, brothers.
But I hope everything
is blessed. Yo.
Charlie, our music industry has been very interesting. I mean, gone are the days where we used to talk about, going global and all that, but it looks like the hub of the Afrobeat, Ghana is going to matter a lot from now till December, talking about the Ghana Party in the Park, the Ghana Music Awards UK. What is a general overview of all these things happening in the UK with our music?
I think, let me start with this very platform, Ghana Music Awards. Alodia has been a champion of Ghana music out there in the UK for over decades. That's why for some of us we were happy when we heard he was the one organizing an event like that. I've been there a couple of occasions. I think 2 years ago I was there, 3 years ago I was there. And so for me, himself and Dennis, like you say, Party in the Park, these are people that have championed the Ghana cause. I think elsewhere in the States, people are trying to do the same, but I think a replica of this, as in Ghana Music Awards USA, I think they're in town too as well. Exactly.
It's also happening in August.
Wow. Then we're taking a proper center stage in the world. I think they need support, governmental support. When they get that.
Well, that was Buddha, who was also present at the launch of the 5th edition of the Ghana Music Awards UK, and he was talking about the fact that all these people who are pushing the Ghanaian music to the world needing support, governmental support, so that they could do much, much better. Well, another person who was also there, very, very important to the music scene here in Ghana, and also has been a very instrumental pivot person, making sure that High Life travels far. Well, he is the acting president of the Musicians Union of Ghana, that is Musica. Well, I was able to have a chit chat with him, and we spoke about Musica. Any updates of the election? Well, this is Besser Simons and my conversation with him at the launch of the Ghana Music Awards UK.
Thing for Musica, because we see all musicians as our children. When they're in their high times, we are there. In their low times, we have to be there for them. So when we see that some of our musicians have been nominated and have been awarded, we get so happy, because we have very little resources in Ghana, but all the same, our musicians are working so hard to excel. So Musica wish all the nominees all the best of luck, and we want them to win and bring more trophies to Ghana and also help their business to grow.
Well, talking about Musica, can you update me with how what is happening with Musica? Are the elections coming up soon? Can you give me any updates on that?
Yeah, at Musica, as we can all witness, there is peace. We have peace now, and then we are moving forward with our agenda. So very soon we will put our roadmap out there for everybody to see, and I believe and I know that very soon you hear about Musica elections coming on.
When you say there is peace now, exactly what do you mean? It doesn't mean there hasn't been any peace before. So when you say there is peace now, exactly what does it mean? Has there been some?
It means we are all united, because every union organization needs a united front to be able to work. But at the moment, we have managed to achieve that. So the next thing it's just win-win-win the way I say it.
Okay. Well, let's go inside and go and have some fun.
Yes, and everybody have a good show.
Okay. And everybody is still having a good chill. We had lots of interviews, lots of personalities, lots of musicians, and the performance was just off the hook. I think you should get stuck to this particular channel, and midday, Becky is going to bring you the rest.
Yeah, because I can't wait. I was just looking forward to Celestine Donko performing. And did Bessa perform?
Bessa didn't perform, but Familia came in, pulled a surprise one. SP Kofi Sapong was amazing, amazing, and Dope Nation. Yeah, they never fail to, thrill the audience.
Definitely. IB, enjoy the morning, enjoy the week. We will see you here, God willing, tomorrow. That's show business. On that note, well, thank you so much for watching the show, and we will see you, God willing, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Bye.